Welcome back to Pro Shop. It's Pete here. Now, over the last few months, a lot has been happening on the FJ. I managed to finish the fuel system, the cooling system, oil lines, brake lines, and now I'm just waiting on getting it wired and then we can start it. But in this video, I'm going to be covering the air conditioning system. Everything from mounting the evaporator unit up under the dash to the electric compressor, the receiver dryer, the condenser, and then plumbing it all. I'll be covering all that. If you stay till the end, I'll show you another little job I've been working on. It's sort of a big job, but it's a little job. You'll see it at the end if you stick around. So let's just get stuck into it.
Done the air conditioning today, and I knew this day was coming. I knew when I had the dummy one in that the vents were going to be a nightmare. The ducting, I should say. So what I've done is, what I like to do is get the unit up under the dash as high as possible so it doesn't stick down here. But when doing that, then it crowds the top here with all the ducting coming out, and it's just a nightmare. So what I've done in the past is made like a little manifold, which I'll make the two go into one. I'll block off that end, and then I'll have the ducting plug onto here and then plug on to the back of the vents, all the demisters up here. So I did the same with the demister one and with the other vents. See that sitting in there. So what I have to do now is do something similar to the outlets for the vents. Alright, one thing I want to do is because these sit down below the bottom here. I don't want them hanging down below the dash. So I've just cracked the nut. Just turned it a shot below the heater hose just to get them on. And this one would have shot straight down. So I'll put this 90° on it, and then I do the same thing. But now it's nice and compact below the dash line. Okay, so I'll just show you this before I put it in. These are the two manifolds I made out of PVC, and I've just blanked off one end, and then this will go to the vents, the back of the vents on your face, those two. So this actually sits in behind, and I'm probably just going to put some self-adhesive Velcro on the face, on the back of the dash, just to stick it on behind. Just so you can remove it if you ever need to. But it's nice and tight up there, but it fits really well. And then for the demister, same sort of thing, goes into the pressure pipes fittings, which I've modified to fit into the demister ducts.
Now this might take a bit of time to build and set up, but now it's a lot easier for me to install because I'm not trying to connect all the ducting as I'm putting it in. We don't have a glove box anymore, but I'd rather that than to have the evaporator hang down below the dash. All the hoses are nicely tucked up under and connected to the back of the bulkhead.
Alright, I'll just run through the air conditioning plumbing. Because this is a little bit different to normal cars. I've done underneath the dash, as I said, all the way to the bulkhead, out to a number 10. This 10 usually goes straight to the compressor in the engine bay, and then the number 6 will come out to the receiver dryer, usually mount it underneath in here somewhere, and then that's number 6. Then it'll go across to the condenser. Usually I mount them at the front, and that will be number 6 too, but on the other side of the condenser is a number 8, and it'll step it up, and then it'll go back to the compressor, and that's the plumbing circuit. But because I have mounted everything in the back, I can't fit the condenser here or a fan and the condenser, so I was waiting months for the condenser and shroud fan to turn up, but it was always out of stock. So yesterday I made my own shroud. I bought the condenser, the smallest one I could find, nice fan, and made that.
It was very simple to make, especially with this Magna bend, which is great for holding boxes and trays. The condenser fan assembly that I was trying to buy was just short of $400, but they've always were out of stock for months. So I bought the fan and condenser separately, I paid $290 for that and just made my own shroud. So this shroud took me less than an hour to make, which, charging my hourly rate, was pretty close to what I could have bought it for.
So the first thing I got to do is number 10 straight down to the pump, and then number 6 straight down to the receiver dryer, and then I can do everything else underneath the car. And I'll just show you why I use these reduced fittings. It's this hose that's reduced. That's the number 10 hose, and then it obviously gets smaller and smaller down to the number 6. So it's nice and good for running underneath the carpet or underneath the tunnel. You can see the difference between this number 10 fitting and the standard number 10 fitting. So big difference. All right, I have the, let's see if you can see it. Not really. Where can I go? Okay. So up there you can see the number 10 and 6. That's coming from the bulkhead. I've got it away from the exhaust. Runs up over this rail and then along the shad's rail here. I've got the number 10 going through one of these holes just because I wanted it up. I didn't want this low. And then I'll put some clamps along this rail, hold it in. It goes up to the pump, and then this number 6 goes up to the dryer and out of the dryer to the condenser, and then the number 8 comes back through here down to the pump. Now these haven't been clamped yet, so what I'll do is I will trim them all, push them in, and then what I will do is just mark a line on the fitting and on the hose, just so that I don't get twisted. Because if this was clamped in the wrong position, it's going to want to try and twist the hose and it might kink it. So I'll do that on all of them now. Pull it off, crimp it, put it back in, put some O-rings on it before I put it back in, and tighten it up.
I got the short hose, number 6, from the dryer to the condenser. And what I do is a little bit of leak lock. This is just the technique that I learnt when I was building limousines. We always put a little bit of this on the hose and the fitting before crimping. I don't know if it works, but we never had any problems, so I'm just going to keep doing it. Line up that black mark with that mark. Okay, tight. That one's done. A nice, obviously you want a nice straight cut, so that's why I use these cutters. Line this back up.
So there is a little inspection hole that you can see to make sure the hose is pushed all the way up. A couple of O-rings. And that's ready to go on. Okay, that one's on. Over. Last one, take this number 8 off. And it goes to the pump. Grip it, put it back on. And then what I will do, I will pin these two, clamp them up to the rail. And these ones, once I've finished staining the timber, I'll clamp that up to there, get them out of the way. And probably put some heat shield on the hose just through here. And probably up here too, where it goes up beside the engine. Up here beside the block. Cool. Alright, almost done. And the last thing to do is put a ring on here. That up. They don't need to be that tight, but tight enough. Okay. Alright, we're good to go. I can gas it, but I will probably just pressurize it with some compressed air, check for leaks. And once it's wired, then we can gas it and run the pump, because we've got to run the pump while we're filling it. Okay, next I'll make the fan shroud and mount these fans. All right, this is the big little job that I was talking about, or the little big job. Yes, this is the Jimny Ute. So if you've been watching for a while, you might have seen it in the background of some shots. I wasn't really able to talk too much about it. The customer didn't want it sort of revealed, but we're at the end of the build now. I will do a full video on all the metal work that went into it. But yeah, there was a lot. This was a brand new car when it arrived. I think there was 32 kilometers on it. And yeah, a lot of work on this side to make it look factory, which is what I like to do. So all these lines line up. You can't tell where I cut it. Still got the back window. Well, I made the back window. And yeah, made the tray, the guards, bought the toolboxes. But yeah, just got to put some handles on here, and then this is off to paint and powder coat. But yeah, this is, as I said, a little job, but it was a lot of work. So, just thought I'd show you what's been keeping me from, well, working on these two. But now it's done. I'm back onto all of this, back onto the RB EH. Still waiting for the motor and still waiting for the brake kit. The brake kit and upper and lower control arms, the billet set. They're coming. They've been 5 months waiting for that. And yeah, don't get me started on the engine. Anyway, it's coming. It's coming. As soon as the motor comes, I'll be back on this full time. As I said, the FJ just needs wiring and we'll get that started. So, if you made it this far, thank you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.